Hey there and welcome to Matt's Garage and another Mercedes repair video. Today I'm working on this 2006 Mercedes ML350 and I'm going to be changing the air filters. So it's got the 3.5 liter gas V6 engine in it, the M272 engine, and the first step of course is to pop the hood. So this orange pull handle there. And then the secondary catch here. Okay, so the first step to accessing the air filters, which are actually integrated into this engine cover here, and these are your air inlets on each side, so there's two air filters. So the first thing you have to do is just pull up on this cover. Don't worry, there's not any fragile clips or anything. You just pull up and pull out, and you can see those push into those rubber bushings, whatever you want to call them, and I just used some interior detailer on them to keep them lubed. They're a little silicone spray. Then there's those two push clips there, and there should be two of these. One of mine are broke off, but they slide right into there. So I'll show you again when we put it back on, no worries. Here's the filters you need and what I would recommend. The MAN brand of filter, that's like the OE filter for Mercedes, so that's what I always try to use. And then I have this lid here, which actually it might be a little small, but what I'm going to use it for is to cover the throttle body once we get that cover off, because I'm working outside here, so something could end up blowing into my throttle body. And then these intake hoses, they just kind of clip onto here, so it's a little cold out here today, so they're being stubborn for me. But okay guys, I got one hose loose here. Okay, so to get this end out, because it's oval, what you can actually do is twist it, and that kind of breaks this loose in there when you do that, and it will allow it to pop off, and just work it up and down in there a little. But be careful, because the radiator overflow hose is there, and you could break that off, the nipple for that, so be careful. And it looks like a bird's been in mine. You can see there's bird droppings in there, so I'll have to clean that out really good. And the trick is to just angle up or down on it as much as you can. So, but just hold down on this box while you're doing it. There we go. I got it to pop. Once you get it angled out like that, just work it back and forth until you get it to pop out like so. There we go. A bunch of sand and grit in there, so clear that all out with an air gun. And it looks like those filters are way overdue for a change. We also have to get that hose off. I don't like having grit like that around when I'm taking apart, you know, the air system, the intake on the motor. So I'm just gonna get a shop towel here and wipe that all clean again. I had already wiped this all before. Okay guys, in case you get them mixed up, they're hard to tell visually, but they are slightly different, so make sure you don't mix them up. Actually, you can kind of tell because that fitting angles away from the engine slightly, like they go in like that, orient it like that on an angle, and you can see that by where they connect. Okay, so I got that all wiped clean. Now this hose, you just pull straight off, give it a little twist to break it free, and then it pulls straight off, and then I'm just gonna put a rag in it just to make sure no dirt gets in it. I'm gonna be doing a little cleaning while I have this cover off. Now there's one last thing holding the cover down, is a clip at the back. You can't really see it, but I'll show it to you once we get the cover off so you can see what you're dealing with. Basically, see if I can get it with my fingers. Yeah, you just reach back there and push it back. I'm not actually sure it was clipped on properly on mine, so it might be a little trickier on yours. And then you just lift up on this, just like that. Pull this off, and then have somewhere clean setup to set this down. Okay guys, see that big clip there is what I'm talking about. You just swing that up and it clips over a little bump on the housing there. And actually, unfortunately, the last person who did the air filter on this didn't get it clipped on properly. They didn't have the seal seated down here on the throttle body, and you can see as a result there's some debris built up on that screen there. So that's actually the mass airflow sensor in there. So I'm going to carefully vacuum that debris off of there with my shop vac, and I'll just be cleaning up the top of the engine here. But one thing I'm going to do, just to keep any further debris or anything from getting in there while I'm working on it, just place that lid over it. And what I've done before, if I'm working on it long term, is put a piece of plastic over it and then I zip tie it on there really good and seal it. You see these are where that locks down to. One there, and the same over here on this side. One right behind the oil cap, one right there at the back of the engine, then of course that big clasp there, and pretty simple, and you're not going to break it or anything. So each filter box is held together by 4 screws, and the heads of those are 25, a T25, and so I'm going to use my impact to take them off, but when I put it back together I'm going to go ahead and use a nut driver to make sure that I don't over torque it, so I'll show you that when we get there. And you'll notice I have this nice clean foam to lay this on so that I'm not scraping this all up, even though some careless person before me has already scratched it up. You know, I hate that. This is a finished part. You don't rub that around on the cement, so sorry for the rant there, but there we go. And let's take the, oh my god, look at that filter, guys. It's really just loaded with junk in there. It was way overdue for service by the look of it. I don't want to get this area all dirty, but I wanted to show you guys. See? Crazy. And that's why I always like to go ahead and do this and change air filters and all the filters and all the fluids when I get a vehicle, because I was told this vehicle was meticulously maintained, and this doesn't really add up with that. So I'm going to go ahead and use a shop vac here and vacuum this out and wipe it all out and get everything spotlessly clean before I go ahead and put my new filters in. Okay guys, so it's about 20 minutes later here, and I just cleaned up all the housings and everything's spotless. I kind of like to do like a wet wipe, and then I use shop towels, and then I'll go over it with the vacuum again to make sure there's no lint left over from anything. So done all that, everything's spotless, ready to go back together. And these are left and right also, I believe, these covers. But how you tell is the left one has that yellow decal on it. But I've also been keeping them separate on their correct sides. And the filters fit either housing. So they just drop in like that, but then we have to make sure that seal is seated in there nicely is all. See, it that seal actually fits down behind that lip, so you want to kind of go around it with your fingers and work it into there. Here, just go down both sides at once. Make sure your hands are clean before you start this. Just go over it twice to be sure. Okay, and then double check that you don't have any debris in your box there, and then just put that on loosely for now, and then we'll get this one to the same stage, because okay, so now I like to, oh, I messed up guys, I can see that I messed up here. Got this one on right. Sometimes when you're working in front of the camera, you're so preoccupied with trying to make things flow smoothly that you don't take the time to look at how things actually go together. So, okay, now I think it's very important to hand tighten these down because you want to tighten them down evenly. So tighten all your screws down until they meet the plastic again, you know what I mean, until they start sucking the cover down. But don't tighten any of them down beyond that yet. And then what you want to do is just kind of evenly bring it down the rest of the way and kind of work from corner to corner. And they lock right down, not terribly tight, but that's why I'm just using a nut driver too, because you could damage this if you're using a powerful impact gun on it. Okay, so same thing over here. Just do them all up like that so they kind of meet the housing again. It just leaves a turn or two left, and then you can kind of evenly bring it down the rest. Okay, so we are done. We're ready to install it back on the vehicle. As you can see, these clips here are actually metal, so there's no way you'd break them. And you see this right here, that's what you get that metal loop hooked onto there. And that holds this seal down to the throttle body there, to the mass airflow sensor. And so you want to make sure that this is on there properly. And if that clip is not going on there easily, it probably means you don't have this lined up properly. So one thing you can do is put a little silicone spray around here or something just to make it go on a bit easier. That might help from binding up there. Or a little bit of Vaseline, but don't get anything inside here, just on the edge. Okay guys, I just got to get that cap off of there. So we're going to focus on getting this down on the throttle body first, but it's hard because the clips kind of want to go at the same time. There we go. It finally went down and seated on the throttle body. We'll see if we can get this clasp clip done up back here. Yeah, see, it just snaps on easily with your fingers if you've got everything proper. That's why the last person didn't do it up, because they couldn't get it done up. And they were just being lazy. They knew they didn't get it together properly. You just got to fight with it till you get it. Otherwise your engine's going to be sucking dirty air. So now we'll just make sure that we don't have any grit in this port. Sort of wipe it out with my finger one final time here. Connect it back up. Okay, now we just got to get those pesky intake hoses on. I've already got them cleaned out and they're on the correct sides of the vehicle. So yeah, I think I got that in. Okay, now this side. I think this side's a bit easier. Okay, so we'll just get this engine cover clip back on quickly here. So again, you just start these back clips first here. So you have to go in on an angle. Just line up your silver stripes on your cover there. When that's all lined up back there, you just press down on the front and that's it. There's some clips in here too, so make sure you press down there. And when you're done, it should all meet evenly with the rear cover, and it should seal down nice and tight around that. That's like a computer there, PCM or whatever. So there you have it. That's all there is to changing the air filters in your ML350 Mercedes. It will probably differ a little bit on a V8 model, like an ML500, but I think it will be quite a similar procedure, and I think there's a lot of Mercedes vehicles that use this airbox system. So I do hope you found the video helpful. Thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and have yourself a great day.